As always, it's an informative discussion. If you did not have an opportunity to view that episode, of course, you are watching through my Facebook channel now. You can always scroll back and have a look at that episode. And also, if you are on YouTube, you can visit my YouTube channel, which is Vernica Delancey, and view that episode over and over again. So it is really good content. Please feel free to go back and take a look at it. Moving forward for today, like and share the page. We have in studio, I have in studio finally Mr. Ian Hurdle, the founder of the agency Turks and Caicos, who is going to be discussing with me, the conversation about branding beyond the logo. So this conversation, even though it's tied around real estate and for real estate agents, it also actually reaches a larger audience for business owners who are looking to improve on their branding and their social media. This is also an opportunity for you to be able to gather information and improve on your brand. So if that person is you, definitely this show is for you. And if you know someone who it caters to, please tag them into this segment and let them know we are live on Let's Talk TCI Real Estate. Put your comments or questions in the comment section, and from time to time I'll be glaring at my phone just to see if there's anything you want to ask my special guest today. So without any further delay, like I said, I have in studio, and I said finally because he was supposed to be on the show previously, and I was looking forward to the conversation, but you know what? It's all about the right time, and this is the right time. So I'm going to say welcome to Let's Talk TCI, Ian.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure to have you with us.
It's a pleasure to finally be here.
Oh, this is
6
great.
seasons and 8 episodes, is it?
Yes.
Yeah, well done, well done. No,
Thank you.
I'm happy to be here.
Great. So even though I've given a just brief introduction, I want you to truly introduce yourself to the listening audience.
Okay.
I want you to give a little bit about a personal background about yourself. Also, I want you to just say a little bit about, how long have you been with the agency? What was the motivation behind the agency and the brand of the agency? We're talking brand today, so I want to understand the agency brand a little bit in your introduction.
Got it. Okay, so hi everyone, Ian Hurdle, as Vernica kindly mentioned, founder and director of the agency in Turks and Caicos. So I got into real estate and became a member of TCI, which is another brand and very important as part of this conversation, in 2011. I did that as a direct result of the recession. Like many at that time, I bounced from construction to landscape design and construction to property management, and in my dealings with property management post-recession, a few people coming in at the start of what we now know as the luxury villa short-term rental sort of decade that's followed, meeting people, can you set us up with a real estate agent? Sure, I can. Knew some great people, sent them out for a day. They come back at the end of the day like we had a good time, but like we really would have gone with you, like again, varied background, which helps when dealing with people. And I spent 5 years working with Christie's, and as you remember, because you were in the thick of it, 2011 to 2016, like we were all figuring things out in the market at that time. The market was a lot softer than it is now. There wasn't a whole lot of inventory. A lot of the inventory that was there had been sat for many years. It was just a difficult time to start in real estate. And that's when I really started analyzing how, in what is a very competitive industry, like how was I going to set myself apart as an agent? And I quickly came to realize that to do it properly, to compete with the titans of our industry that have been established going back before 2002, where we saw the first boom, like I would need a really strong brand to set myself up and to really compete with those people, because obviously I was a long way behind. And originally I'd spent about 18 months going up and down the East Coast talking to Douglas Elliman.
Okay.
Which at that time was a powerhouse, and still is a powerhouse on the East Coast. They were doing the $1 Million Listing New York TV show. I had blonde hair and a six-pack, honest. And I thought, yeah, that's going to be a great look for me. I can bring TV to Turks and Caicos. But the challenge I had is in talking to them is, one, they were very similar to Sotheby's. It was that cool blue, very sophisticated. And then once they came outside of the US, they were very splintered. Savills or Knight Frank, they kind of moved into that direction. and Savills had already been taken by Sam, and Knight Frank wasn't a brand that I felt would really provide competition in the marketplace. If Sotheby's were the top of our industry in cool blue, I wanted the antithesis of that. I wanted the rebellious, like something that's going to be the underdog, something that's going to nip at the tail, like, you know.
Right.
And obviously the opposite of blue is red, and I can be a little bit hot-tempered, as you know. And it was purely luck that a friend of mine showed me a Beverly Hills housewife video. And in that video was Carl Richards, who was married to Mauricio Amansky, and that was my first time seeing the red square with the agency in it, and I'm like, that's it. That's what I want. So surprisingly, it was very quickly with introductions. I managed to get a phone call with one of the managing partners of corporate. That was back in 2016. And he's a close friend now, Santiago, but at the time, he was still figuring out English as his second language from Bolivia. And at that time, he was selling, you know, about $350 million a year by himself. And I think I'd sold $5 million my entire career. He's in the heart of Beverly Hills, and I've, of course, on a little rock in the middle of nowhere with no real sales track record to speak of.
Right.
And we had an awful phone call. Like, it was like, who are you? Why are you bothering me? Sort of phone call. And I said, after about 8 to 10 minutes, like, this call is not going well. If I fly to LA, will you give me 10 minutes to pitch you? Because I really think your brand, your culture, like the openness, the collaboration, everything you stand for in this little red logo really is intrinsic to what sets people in the Caribbean apart. Like, we're very open book, we're very warm, we're very friendly, and I think it would be a really good fit down here. And he said, if you fly to us tomorrow, I'll put you in a room with Billy Rose, who was the founder of the agency at that point, and Mauricio, of course, who is the Hollywood icon, been on TV shows, like he's the personality of the brand.
Right.
So, much to my wife's chagrin, got on a plane, very expensive plane ride, all the way out to LA. I didn't understand, never been to the West Coast before.
Okay.
Never been to LA, never been to Beverly Hills. I was 2.5 hours late for the meeting because we got stuck in traffic. Not a good start.
No.
They have this very cool, pristine building. It's all glass, very sophisticated where the office is. I'm there, as you would expect, flip-flops, linen pants, flowery shirt. I can see people through the glass. They're all in the suits. They all have the teeth. They all have the coiffed hair. Like, they look like what you see as real estate on TV. I was probably another 15, 20 minutes figuring out how to get in the building because I couldn't work out, like, how to get in because it was all glass. Fortunately, Mauricio turned up from his private jet. He was late as well. So I ended up going in a room like we are now, and there's the three of them on one side and me, and like Mauricio comes over and shakes my hand and says, "Hi, you must know who I am," because obviously he's famous. I started the meeting very badly by saying, "Sorry, not really got much of a clue. This has happened very quickly. Forgive me." And he's like, "Oh, okay," sort of already rolling his eyes and like, "Okay, sit down and pitch us. You're here to pitch us, pitch us."
Right.
And like I'm talking to you and talking to these good people on the camera now, like talking about Turks and Caicos, talking about where I see the market, talking about where I felt their brand and logo could really make a strong impression and really help me compete in the marketplace. And again, about 8 to 10 minutes in, I got told to be quiet. And I'm like, okay, this is the point where I get asked to leave. I've wasted their time. I'm back in the car. Like, thank you so much. And no, the exact opposite. Like, where do we sign? So that was July, and we had the office open, as you know, October 1st of the same year. So it happened very, very quickly. I'm still pinching myself as to figure out what I said and what I did that made them go, yes, because at that time they hadn't even considered a franchise model. You know, they had one partnership I think they were just investigating in Mexico.
Okay.
And of course now, fast forward to where we are today in 2025, we ended up being the first franchise of 140.
Great.
So it's really been a journey, and as you know, like it started with Turks, Bahamas, Jamaica, maybe Barbados. So it's really the original vision I had for this brand and this logo is really starting to resonate.
And you feel that, I mean, even now today, that was a very wise choice that you've made, and you're happy that you made that choice.
Absolutely, it's been life-changing.
Right.
Like I can't even begin to describe. I mean, there's obviously the sales success and where we are now positioned respectfully in the community and also in the industry. But also I look at like my partners, Sean and Trevor, and the relationship that we have. I look at the agents that we have on the team and the relationship I have with them. I look at all the properties that we represent, like properties. I mean, I still pinch myself every time I step foot in Mandalay. Like Mandalay was my dream. Like, if I'd made it in real estate, I'm representing that property.
You are.
And I'm representing it. And even like the Palms, I wrote about this in one of my Instagram blogs last year. Like, when I was a new agent, 2011, 2012, like, if you had a listing at the Palms, like, you were the best of the best. Like, there was Dee, or there was Nina, or like, it was a real thing. And now I'm selling at the Palms, and it's like, I wouldn't have done that without the agency.
So you've made your mark through
the
agency.
I think so. And
I
again,
think you have.
Thank you. The brand, right?
Yes.
It's really like, it's made a difference. And I also feel like that same energy and brand has helped elevate everybody around us. Like, I think all of the brokerages are stronger because we're like, our brokerages have a great relationship. Like, we get on really, really well, but we elevate, we push. Like, everybody's a lot more active on social media. Everybody's a lot more cognizant of the brand that they're wearing and the different culture within the brokerages. But it doesn't stop us. We're not competing so strongly with each other that it's, I'm not sharing my business with you. Like, we all want to work with each other. Yeah. So,
I mean, I think that's a great recollection of how you got to this point, and obviously, like you said, I think that you're doing quite well, and it is a very recognized brand. And congratulations on getting this far.
Thank you.
And for the future and where you are going. Sounds like an interesting ride.
We're not stomping. Oh, it's always been interesting. So but everything is a journey. Like, you've been on this journey as well. Like, there is not an industry. I would argue that there's not an industry like the one that we're in, where every day is a roller coaster.
Yeah.
Like, I'm making money, I'm not making money. I'm making money, I'm not making money. And probably what a lot of people don't understand is, if you're not making money, you're not eating.
Yes.
Like, there's no fallback. There's no. We've had this conversation, you and I. Like, you can't be half 1 foot in and 1 foot out in this industry. You're either all in or you're, part time. It doesn't reward you in the same way. Like, you really have to commit to it. And I'm a great example of that. Like, 2011 to 2016, when I was with Christie's, I had all these other businesses, and my sales suffered accordingly because I wasn't
completely in.
Yeah, and until you're in there and you're breathing it and living it, and all the hardships that come with, and then that one sale, like Tory with his one golf shot, like it sailed, and like, yes, I've got one. And that's what keeps you going, and 1 becomes 2, and 2 becomes 5, and hopefully then you start to get a pipeline, and I'm here. Yeah,
definitely.
But it's never taken for granted, as you know, because as we're experiencing now, like a little change in the market, a softening of conditions, adverse conditions that are affecting people's confidence in our market, like all of these things, it changes all the time. So
over time, definitely. So, of course, we're talking about the brand, and our subject for today is about branding beyond the logo. And I want you to probably explain, I guess we can discuss why we feel like branding is just not a logo. A lot of times when people, they start a business, they feel like once I have a logo, that's the end all and the be all, and that's what's going to represent me throughout. Why do we feel, or how do we know that it's not just about the logo? Branding is really other things that that is involved. I think the logo actually identifies you, but the brand actually helps you to communicate and to connect and to inspire those customers who are out there. What's your take on that?
So ultimately, and it doesn't matter if it's an agency logo, Keller Williams logo, some of these, like all of these logos have a track record of integrity, ethics, advisory. Like, there's no such thing as all of these top companies, that they all have an impressive track record for various different reasons. Some of them, an agency, I think is probably one of the newer ones, in the sense that it's a little bit more vibrant and it's newer to the scene, and it's got that sort of funky, fresh, and that's what's helped us kind of resonate. And we have our rules, and we have our little cultural slogans, and that kind of tells a story about who we are as a tribe, but also the type of people that we're trying to attract.
Right.
Like, I knew going into working with this brand and going all in on that logo and what that logo stands for, is that wouldn't attract everybody to me. Like, I can't be everything to everyone, and I think we recognize that in life. Like, you're always going to find your own tribe, and you're going to work with your own people, and that's fine. If somebody doesn't want to work with you and they want to work with Sotheby's, there's enough business to go around. Or if somebody wants to work with Keller Williams And also, like, personality-wise, like, we're never individually going to be a great fit for every person that comes into this country
Yes.
looking to buy real estate. So it becomes important to stand behind what you believe that logo and that brand stands for, and that it aligns with your own personal beliefs in how you should do business. And ultimately, that's why 10 people work for the agency and 10 people work for Keller Williams, because they find their tribe and they really stand behind and believe like this symbol best represents me, and that symbol has a company message, it has a personal message, it stands for something, it has a track record, and that's ultimately, in terms of being a new agent, like, well, how do I compete with 159 other agents? You're given the boost and the head start of all of that history that comes with that particular brand.
Yeah.
Did I answer that right?
You did.
Okay, good.
Talking about new agents and talking about how we can all we all want to stand out. We all want to be able to compete in this market because, of course, like you've said already, you know, this real estate career is growing rapidly, and we have a lot more agents who are coming into the field. Yep. The numbers are growing, and newer agents especially, I think, has to be prepared for what is to come ahead, and they have to be prepared to create a brand. And when I say create a brand, yes, you may be with, I always feel, well, this is how I think about it. I am with the Keller Williams, and we have the Keller Williams logo, but I still have to create my own brand within the brand in somewhat way to know, like, what's my value proposition, you know, what it is, to be able to push that brand further. You can't, again, just be a KW logo and then you have no substance behind it, right? And I also feel that, and when I say that you have to be able to work towards it. And one of the things we're going to talk about, even in the brand, is about, you know, creating that social media brand, that consistency, all of these things. How do you actually encourage or convince, you know, like the newer agents, or what do you say to them to encourage them to, hey, create that brand, because you're going to need that to help you to get where you need to get?
So the answer to that is multifaceted, as you would expect, because obviously to be a good real estate agent, there are multiple skill sets, discipline and consistency being the first and foremost. And I just went through this exercise. I did a training camp with our Jamaica office, because of the 17 agents, most of them are new, most of them have just passed their exam. So they're all in that stage of like, and there's 1,600 agents licensed there. So it's 3 million people, like it's a much bigger market. So as much as new agents might feel lost here, like it's a whole different thing there. And the expectations that they're all going to be millionaires overnight, which you and I both know is...
It's not going to happen.
Not going to happen, unfortunately. Like, you might get lucky and you might hit a big one or two out of the gate, but if you don't build that network and you don't build that pipeline and you're not constantly farming and harvesting leads, you know, you're not going to keep a sustainable pipeline, and you're not going to see sales. And that's the other thing that I think people forget here, is that we're here to make a living. Like,
yes.
Looking pretty on Instagram and following the algorithms and the cool music, like, unless that's translating into leads that are then translating into sales, it all means nothing. So I had to speak to a couple of agents, because like I've got a massive following on TikTok as an example. I'm like, okay, so you had 10,000 people look at this. Did you actually look at the comments? Did you follow up individually with those comments? Did you ask them if they're interested in buying, or they just really liked your video? Like, did you harvest them into your e-blast pipeline so that you can make sure that you keep drip feeding them? Like, you and I both know that however we look on camera and however we dress and present ourselves professionally, like, most of the work that a real estate agent does is pretty boring. 9 hours a day, you're much to the laptop. Like, it's just the follow-up, and it's the communication, and that goes back to the branding. Well, what does the brand stand for? Well, it's professional and it's service. Like, we are a service-orientated industry, and that comes from, if I'm fortunate enough to have somebody believe and trust me with one of the biggest decisions of their career, I need to know how old their kids are. I need to know where their kids' birthdays are. I need to know the next time they're on island. Can I help them set up where they're staying? Can we meet for dinner? Can we meet for coffee? And that's just one. And then as a new agent, you start with 1, and you move to 5, and you move to 10. And hopefully by year 3, you've got a pool of 30 to 50 people that you're constantly in touch with. And in being constantly in touch with them, like with WhatsApp messages or text messages or emails or phone calls, whatever your preferred method of communication is with that customer. On the other side of it, you're still touching them with your social media comment, like you're educating them. I think that's another thing that's missed with social media. Like my social media started purely as an educational platform. I wanted to offer value to people. I wanted to bring the lifestyle of Turks and Caicos to them, but I couldn't sell them on the lifestyle, and I couldn't get to the end result of selling them a house until I'd really sold them on me.
Yes.
And that's the superpower that, you know, we all need to have, is the authenticity to just be confident in who we are and put ourselves out there, cognizant that not everybody's going to like us. But most people will gravitate to somebody that has experience, has a track record for sales, is a good family person, does things for the community, and in telling a story of a closing or telling a story of a listing is, and I like to think I'm tongue in cheek with it, you know, you humble brag. Like, I've done this, I need to tell you that I've done this because I need to keep my business growing. I'm grateful for the opportunities, I'm sharing this information with you. Like, there's an approach to it that's very important. If you just come across as cocky and arrogant and like it's all about me, which I've seen some of, I can't see that you are going to keep a sustainable business. So there's a balancing act to it.
Yeah.
Now, the other element of that is not everybody is comfortable being on camera. Not everybody is comfortable being out there on social media. And that was the other conversation I had recently. It's like everybody needs to find their own path in terms of building a network. And I had one young lady as a great example that started with the Jamaica office a year ago, super like body language, shoulders in, very nervous, very unsure, can't be on camera, gets really like, and I said, it's a coffee shop downstairs. Go downstairs every day, have a coffee, put the cap on the table, put some business cards. People will see that you're in real estate and build your network that way. And she has gone from signing $1 million listing a year ago to now like she has so many listings, like she's not sure what to do with herself, and like that's the next problem that we're now helping her with. But that came from being in person in terms of the door knocking versus virtually or on digital in the door knocking, because ultimately that's what social media is. It's digital door knocking.
It is.
Yeah. At the advantage being that for new agents, it doesn't cost much of anything. Like, it's really just investing in a good camera phone to start with and being confident to talk and taking reasonable pictures and making sure that when you post, there's value to what you're posting.
Yeah. I think you just need to make a start.
Yeah.
If you don't make a start, then you're never going to know what happened.
If you don't start, you're not going to eat. Like, I mean, it's that simple, right?
Yeah.
Like, ultimately, there has to be that pressure. Like, there's no safety net. Like, if you're not going to, as we discussed earlier, be all in on it, whatever your preferred method of getting out there is, like, you've got to be all in on.
Yeah. One of the things, just talking about that, one of the things we always learn in the KW brand is always, and I know it's probably your brand does the same thing, is about, you know, affirmations. And one of the things I always have is faith over fear.
Yeah.
And my whole thing is I've been carrying that with me for such a long time. And this is coming from the same thing about stepping out. People are afraid to be in front of the camera. And this is what it is. You have to put your fears aside and have more faith and step out, or you're going to be left behind. That's basically what it is.
You can't sell if nobody knows you're there.
And if nobody knows you're there.
And that's the same for any business. Like, and you and I have seen this, and that's part of the value that I wanted to bring in what we're discussing today. Is this, what we're discussing doesn't just apply to real estate. It applies to every business on the island. Like, and especially in a time where, see, the other thing that worries me for a lot of the new agents that have come in post-pandemic is, as you and I know, the numbers have been crazy. Like, we've seen before the pandemic numbers that were starting to, from 2018 Q2, go up to numbers that were higher than we'd ever seen before. We thought the end of the world had come with the pandemic, and then the opposite happened and we went like this. None of these new agents have been through the hard times in the market that you and I have been through. So these systems and programs like need to be in place for new agents from now. Like, you need to get this consistency going because you might still hit some home runs, but we've definitely in the market, I think, reached a plateau right now.
Yes.
None of us know how long that's going to last. We all think it's going to be short, but it might be a couple of years.
Right.
And then how are you going to make your money? How are you going to stand out? What are you doing as an individual agent to be found?
Exactly.
Yeah, like, and again, that requires hard work, it requires discipline, it requires consistency, it requires sacrifice. All of the things that most people don't appreciate when they see somebody dressed up with the watch and the Land Rover, talking comfortably on
Yes.
Instagram. There's a whole lot behind it.
And it's all about creating that brand with all of those consistencies. I would like if you can just put on the screen page number 2 about visual identity, because that's what we're talking about now. You did a very excellent presentation to the TCREA members about this whole brand identity, and so I would like just for us to pull up a few of those slides and talk a little bit about it. And the first one we want to just touch on, because we're talking about this visual identity, is the screen number 2. So, and I want to say this while he's putting it on the screen. One of the things I've said to my agents as well, it's like if your face isn't out there, then people don't know you're doing real estate. So if you were working with the immigration department, for example, everyone know that you're an immigration officer. So they're gonna, they're gonna put your face as an immigration officer every time they see you, if you're not out there in the real estate world and pushing real estate. And so if you want to be a real estate agent, then you have to be able to change that perception, so that when somebody approach you, they are not looking at an immigration officer, but rather a real estate agent. Or else you won't sell anything, because all that you are to them is basically an immigration officer. So if you can talk a little bit about your presentation when you talk about the visual identity, headshots, professional headshots, your email signatures, your logo, just give us a synopsis of what you mean about it.
Yeah, well, I had that challenge, because very few people, and even today, a lot of people still remember me as the landscaper. People remember me from building houses. People remember me from trail enterprises and property management. I've had careers, so you don't want to be a jack of all and master of none. So I had to really work on and the circumstances, my daughter passed.
Yes.
I let go of everything else to focus purely on real estate, as much for my mental and physical health as anything else. How do I, going back to what we said before, how do I compete with a Nina, a Water, people that are right at the top of our industry and having what we perceive as success with consistent sales at high price points? What am I going to do to put myself within a fighting chance that if I'm going to a listing appointment, sorry, take that back, how do I even get considered to be invited to be in the same group or conversation for the top listings and everything else? And it started with recognizing that I needed high quality photos of the listings, so that meant an investment in really good photographers. I clicked on very quickly that people focused on maybe 15 to 20 photos of just daytime. What can I do differently? Well, for me, selling the lifestyle, like golden hour, sunset, twilight, seeing a house lit up at night, because many of us like to entertain outdoors and have dining at night. So introducing that. So instead of putting 20 photos up on an MLS listing, I was putting 40 or 50, but I was telling the whole story from sunrise to sunset and nighttime. So I was doing visually with the listings, and then grandpa, my love handles, big jowls, whatever, bald head, trying to get as professional looking photos, but I was very strategic, and some of the shots I got mocked for because, you're in a black suit in the full sun with sunglasses. Yes, but this is the type of imagery that people from LA are used to seeing, people from New York are used to seeing, people from Toronto are used to seeing. They're used to seeing real estate agents like that. So it was important to me that I had a library of imagery of me that sort of represented different demographics, so that depending on who I was speaking to, I could drop an image in that suited that particular buyer, so they could resonate with me. And then it was about, okay, I've got all of this incredible imagery, I've built this library, it's cost me money to do that. How do I then re-educate the community that I'm not a landscaper, I'm not a contractor, I'm not a property manager, I am, whether I am or not, I want to be one of the top real estate agents in the country. And then it was about recognizing where I could create presence. So advertising at the airport, so that the first person you see when you come into the country is Ian Hurdle. Welcome you to Turks and Caicos. The same in Grand Turk. And on the TV, our brokerage is there with all of our listings. On the other side, the last person you see when you leave the Turks and Caicos is Ian Hurdle. Thank you for coming. I hope you had a great time. QR code, contact details, Instagram. People are sat at the airport, they're bored for 2 or 3 hours. Who's this guy on the wall? Click. So I was cognizant about capturing who was coming in and who was coming out, And then in terms of re-educating the local community, our advertising in the weekly news, our advertising in the IGA supermarket, so that wherever you went, there was either the guy with the bald head or one of our team. And when I say the guy with bald head, obviously I've got Trevor and Sean, so there's 3 guys with bald heads. And wherever we are, there's the red square with the agency logo. So it became an exercise in, if we have so much money for marketing, what's the best use of re-educating the community and letting them know that of all of the brokerages that have been here for many, many years, we are new, we're hungry for business, we're prepared to work hard, we're sending a message with what we're doing. And if you look at what we're doing, everything is, and you know this about me, perfectionist, like everything looks visually a certain way.
Yeah.
So there's a standard to what we're doing.
To what you're doing.
Yeah.
Again, because we're talking visual right now,
Yeah.
how often would you suggest that you should change your headshot?
So I am, because I'm in so many different forums and have so many different images, it really depends on the platform. There is one image, and we use, which is why I said to you, can you please change the image? There's one image that has kind of become synonymous with my Caribbean brand, so I tend to keep with that just because if I changed it, I've got to change it across everything.
Okay.
I think it's more about confidence and the message that you're trying to send. And as we discussed earlier, the industry changes constantly. So like I could wake up tomorrow and say, you know what, I'm bored with everything that I'm doing. I've seen a dip in my sales. Like it's time for a refresh. It's time to say, Ian's 2 years removed from that guy. Now Ian's got a second granddaughter and he's lost a bit of weight because he had a heart attack earlier in the year and he's walking every day. Like whatever it is, I'm telling that story in the next, like I am seriously considering like refreshing everything for the next season, because I think the next season is going to be tough.
Right.
And you also want to be at the front of the industry in terms of setting the standard for everybody else to rise to. If we all just keep the same, then it's going to stay the same. So yeah, I mean, I analyze not just visually, but everything that I'm doing all the time, and I'm picking holes in it just because that's my nature, because I want to get better and I want to continue to compete at the top end of the industry rather than being kind of left behind, which is very easy to do in our industry because we've got some great people in it, and they are also reinventing, refreshing, doing what they need to do. So I mean, that's, I don't know how you feel, but I love that competitive element to the industry. It's friendly, but it's like we're all like constantly adjusting to each other's moves, and we all have different skill sets, which is great, and different brands and networks. Yeah,
I think over the past years, especially since COVID, I think a lot has changed in real estate, and there is a lot more competition in every aspect. A lot of people have stepped up on their games. You can see it in a lot of things in the way agents are even out there more on social media. And on that note, we want to probably put up the other slide where we're talking about the digital presence and how important it is, I think, in any business, of course, but especially as real estate agents, to have some social media platform. Back to what you were saying before, some agents are saying, you know what, I don't want my face out there. I don't want to be out there all the time. I don't want to be in someone's face all the time. But the reality of it is, if that is your business, then your business needs to be out there so people can know that you're there, recognize you, and contact you. If you want to stay behind the scenes, then that means you don't want to move forward. I know for me, a lot of people say, oh, you love to be in front of camera. No, but it was a conscious decision I made. It's like, okay, if this is what I love and I want to do, then I need to be out there. So now when a person see me, automatically they know Vernika's real estate. That's the only thing they know me for. So let's talk a little bit about some of the social media platforms that you feel like it's very important that agents and businesses need to tap into, to get the brand pushed the way it needs to be done.
So being a real estate agent is very busy. So before we turned on the camera, you and I discussed the fact that you need to find the platform that best suits you. And you don't have to be as prolific as I am, where I'm posting every day. And just to clarify on that, I don't follow the algorithms. I'm not up to date with how many hashtags and what time of day I should post. I treat it very much as a blog, and as I said, like, I want to bring value. I've gone a little bit away from value now, 5-6 years in, because I've built such a large audience, and a lot of that audience is now tied to what I'm doing and how I'm doing things. So I have my feed on Instagram, and the reason why I'm talking about Instagram is because of all of the platforms that I'm on. That is the one that has really been the backbone of my personal success. Like, I've done a lot of lead generation and a lot of direct sales from Instagram, and it's strategically for me, it's been about, right, I want to create the best presentation I possibly can visually in my feed. So if you look at my feed, it's very much a mosaic. I position the brand on some posts. I created a very elaborate content matrix that I follow, where if you're just feeding real estate all the time, people tune out. Like, everybody loves real estate, everybody likes to talk real estate, but you don't want it rammed down your throat every day by your real estate agent. Like, it just becomes like,
Right.
I have beautiful grandkids, I have beautiful kids, I've got 7 dogs, I love living on the island. My reasons for living on the island may be different to yours, or maybe different to somebody else's. So I'm telling that story, but I have what I call very curated in the feed, and I'm very consistent in the feed. And then one of the accusations I got very quickly was, your videos are so great they can't be true, they must be super filtered. So then I was very cognizant that in the stories, like, I'm going to tell the story of what I'm doing every day with just on my phone, and that's a lot more like I'm walking and it's bouncing up and down, and I'm talking and I'm going upstairs and I'm puffing because I'm out of shape, and but people are then getting like the super curated, and then they're seeing actual and realizing that the actual is no different to the And obviously I'm using what I call hero shots to really hook people in, because that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to build an audience that's effectively our network of customers. But just in the Instagram platform, I found between the feed and stories 2 ways where I could very easily not just reach people, but encourage people to follow me, encourage people to talk with me on direct messages. Like, some of my best relationships are Instagram friends, some of whom I've never met in person, but like, your Instagram friends fight for you, they'll support you through the thickest, they're always there with the thumbs up and the love heart or whatever. Like, the relationships I built through that platform are tremendous. Just recently I've started doing more on TikTok, which took me, because I'm older, it took me a little while to figure out, and I'm probably still not doing it right, but I get, I don't know, 10x the views I'll get on TikTok than I will on Instagram, but I don't get the same level of direct messages and lead generation. But because I've spent money on video and posted it on one platform, it would be a waste not to tap in on the other. And then going back to what we were discussing earlier about community presence, when I went on my vacation recently, like going through the airport, hi, are you Ian? You're on TikTok. Oh, you're the guy from TikTok. You're the real estate agent from TikTok. Like, and I didn't realize I was having that kind of impression. And of course my wife's rolling my eyes like, oh, you're TikTok famous. And of course it's a kid's thing.
Yes.
But it's as we said, like, people are then cognizant that you're in the industry. And I've always said that you, I, and everybody else that represents the Korea are the front line of tourism in the country. Like, we're out there promoting everything that's good about the Turks and Caicos, and why it's a great place to live, and why you should come and visit and vacation and hopefully buy here. Like, we're the ones that are telling that story, and in a lot of cases, me as an example, like, we're investing heavily to promote the country and tell that story in a very positive light. So I hope I didn't get off tangent there, but like, Instagram for me has been the one. I'll quickly tell you a story about, and it's a famous story in our office, about LinkedIn.
Okay.
Back when it was just me, I didn't have Trevor and Sean as business partners, I didn't have any agents, like, I knew I needed a network very quickly, and LinkedIn back in 2016, 2017 was almost like a professional business card. And I don't know if you remember, but if you dared to invite somebody on LinkedIn that you didn't know, like, it was frowned upon, like, that was a professional faux pas.
Yes.
I literally, and I got a fat thumb for this, I spent 2 months every day, like, inviting CEOs, real estate brokers in the US, real estate brokers in Canada, private jet operators, hoteliers, resort developers. I was just going click, 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 click.
Right.
I'm in the queue in the bank, I'm on the toilet, and click, 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 click. I got shut down by LinkedIn like 3 times. They actually banned me for a month once. But I got up to nearly 10,000 just by going.
Just inviting.
And then the final time I got banned from LinkedIn for that month, I did what you're not supposed to do. That I then harvested all of the email addresses from all the people I connected to, threw that into my e-blast.
Shouldn't you be saying this?
No, but
but I get your point.
But it's an example of how I was able to fast track building a network. And I'm still, to this day, like, when I post on LinkedIn, which is not as regularly as others, like, I use it as my get out of jail free card. Like if I feel like I'm having a little lull, I'll spend maybe 2 weeks posting daily on LinkedIn, and all of a sudden it's bing, 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 because all of those people are either wealthy or successful. They love the videos, they love the communication, and then I can literally top up my pool of people that I'm dealing with to deal with any lull just by dropping into that platform. And some people still prefer, older school professionals still prefer the gravitas of LinkedIn.
Right.
Like you don't have to put a video on there. It can just be some photos, or it can just even be just like a blog.
Right.
So there's TikTok for the kids, Instagram for the sort of in-betweeners, LinkedIn for there's a platform for everyone is what I'm trying to get to. If you're creating a lot of content like I am, then it makes sense to post on all of them because you're hedging your bets, and I've always seen this industry as a percentage game. I want to reach as many people as possible.
Yeah, I think that posting, having numerous accounts helps you to reach more people. And of course, like you said, it depends on the platform, it depends on the caliber of people who you are targeting. But I also like what you're saying, how, Instagram is your main thing, and that's where you do a lot of that's where you feel all the love, and that's where you get all your leads generation from. And I also feel like we've said earlier, for me it's really Facebook and my YouTube. And so because I'm not on all of those platforms, I may have an account open, but my main focus is on my YouTube, my Facebook. And I think everyone should have social media, and they should probably focus on what gets them the most leads and what they are better at doing, because instead of not doing anything at all.
Can I use you as an example?
Sure.
Like if I was giving you advice, like this video that we're doing today, which will end up being 60 minutes, I would cut that into maybe 60 to 90 second videos, and that's a month's worth of content for YouTube Shorts, TikTok, Instagram Stories, Instagram Reels, and you've already created it once. You've just got to cut it up, and then you as a busy agent, like your next month is done. And then the content is working for you with the lead generation while you're out there doing your job. You don't have to think about it.
Yes.
So just as an internal example, so whenever I'm working with any of our agents in any of the islands, like I'm always looking at what they're creating and how they can take 2 or 3 minutes and make 5 or 6 things that they can then use for, like, posting 3 times a week if you're not confident is plenty. And if you're really not confident talking on camera, like, the reason why people like you and I are on camera is because we want to directly build trust with people. We want them to see that we're real people.
Yes.
But if you really are not comfortable, that's where the power of the brand and the logo comes in. Like at the agency, and I'm sure it's the same with Keller Williams, like there's a huge toolbox of social content that you can just tie to the island and the market right now, and it still comes back to you offering value. And not everybody wants to see Ian on a video. Somebody might just want to know what the latest market stats are and gravitate to that person because they're also a little bit like, So it really is, you don't have to be front and center. You just have to find your path and your platform for getting, because ultimately, as you said earlier, like if you want to eat, you need as much exposure as possible. It's just finding the right way to do it.
Do you think print material is still important in helping you create your brand?
Yes, I do. I think it's very important. And I mean, print is dead is a great thing to say, isn't it? Like a lot of people say print is dead. And obviously, I don't know what the vote was recently, but whether we're continuing with our To Korea magazine or not, I don't know.
No.
It's no?
I'm told that we're not going to do the printed one, but we're going to do an ebook with the information.
See, I actually personally, I think that's really sad. Like I think there's still a demographic of people that love to pick up a magazine, go and sit on the beach with their pen and tick and cross. And whether they buy or don't buy, like I also feel like we have bought, and I compare this, like no other country in the Caribbean, to my knowledge, produces a book of that quality and standard like we have consistently over many, many years. I think it's something as an association, and going back to the power of the Korea brand and logo, that we do everything differently to any other real estate association in the region. And I personally think it's a loss not to have that book. I take the recent comments that it's become a big book, but then we've had a very successful market, and as you said, the competition has increased. Like the need to be seen has elevated, and that's why this book has grown from that to that. So I get all of the arguments as to why, but I still think there's value. And going back to what I call the percentages, why would you leave an opportunity to sell off the table when it not only brings value to you as an agent, but like our sellers, I think, are probably going to be upset that they're not going to see their houses in print, because there is an ego element to it, there is a presence element to it, and there is a justification for us as agents, like we need to be seen to be doing our job.
Yes.
So I'm disappointed to hear that we've gone completely away from print. I hope they get the digital aspect right, because as you know, at the agency we have a digital magazine. We didn't just go eggs all in one basket. We have print and digital. And I think there's a way of doing both, like we've done, that I think works really, really well, and Sotheby's have done historically. And I brochures, handouts, pamphlets, flyers, postcards.
Yeah.
Like, for people that don't, like, video is not cheap unless you're just doing it yourself on the phone. Like, it takes,
Yes.
I'm sure this is not you know, like you're making an investment. So as a new agent, you don't always have that budget to make that investment, but you have the ability to go to Business Solutions and print 100 flyers using the toolbox of your particular brand, to then go and drop that in mailboxes and say, I'm your guy or I'm your girl. So I do still think there's value to print. I obviously, in joining the agency and promoting the agency, we very much set ourselves out as the standard bearer of video and digital, but we didn't completely dismiss print. We just found that it was onerous from an expense perspective at the start of a new business.
Right.
Now that we're established, like, we are doing more and more print.
Even talking about print, you know, one of the things that comes to mind is business cards. I know this is always a discussion with people, whether you should just have a QR code or a digital business card or you know, a physical business card. I also feel that, you know, you can have both, because for me, I'll tell you, I am old school. As young as I am old school. And say, for example, when we go to a big conference or anything like that, yes, we're scanning our codes and we're getting cards, but I'll tell you the truth. Half of the people you don't remember when you scan it in your phone, because you don't remember all their names. But if you have that card, I come and I take them and I throw them all in a box. And when I'm looking for a referral in New York City, I just look to my box and I say New York City. Well, I mean, there are different mechanisms that we have, and we have different systems where you can put your referrals in and everything like that. But sometimes for me, I find that it's just easier remembering a lot more when I have some of those older business cards. So I want a combination of both, but I still feel that even newer agents, it's easier to just hand out your business cards to people as well.
I am 50 years old. I think I do a pretty good job of being social media savvy, but I love a business card.
Yeah.
Like, I want to, and I invest heavily in mine. Like, for me, when I hand somebody my card, like, I'm trying to capture who I am as a person and what I stand for in that little moment. And I hope that then resonates, and that person goes home and physically looks at that card and keeps. And obviously these days you can just touch phones and your contact details are shared. And obviously, if you really want to engage with somebody, thankfully in this digital world, like, you can go on Google, you can, like, I met that person today, you can find their Instagram, you can direct message them, whatever it might be. There's many ways to communicate, but I also, going back to why we represent a brand and a logo, like, I do feel there's value in a business card. And in the cases of listing presentations and open houses, like a presentation that says, I'm Ian Hurdle or I'm Vanika, like, this is who I am, this is what I stand for, and this is the standard of professionalism that I'm going to bring to you.
Could you put up slide number 6, community presence? I feel like that's a very important thing when it comes to brand recognition.
So we were talking about that in the office today, because we actually had such a busy second quarter, despite the little dip in the market, that we forgot to do our community art walk in Q2. And I don't know if you've been to one of those.
I haven't been to it, but I've seen all the things on social media, and it has been successful and really good.
So again, being the newest brokerage, trying to find an avenue that hasn't already been done in terms of ingratiating yourself with the community was really, really hard, because obviously Sotheby's are doing great things with the Edwin Garland Youth Centre and have done all sorts of things, and Christie's and yourselves. Like, where do you find your niche without just writing 20 checks for $500 to, like, you want to bring value. And you also want to engage with the community.
Yeah, so you want to be a part of it all.
So we found that supporting local artists, having them coming to the office, giving them an opportunity to present their wares, inviting people in for, like, my wife's cheese boards and champagne, like, and actually the most important element of being a real estate agent, talking to somebody in person,
Yes.
not just through a camera or on the phone, like you and I are talking now, like building a relationship and actually having some social time and finding out that, you know, actually he's quite nice to talk to in person. He's not that arrogant so-and-so so that element of it is important. And then we like to see ourselves as storytellers, so then telling the story of why we did that event and what the purpose of it is and who attended and why you should really buy such and such artwork because it's beautiful. Like we have 4 pieces in the office now that we bought because we just loved their art so much.
Right.
And we had them agency branded so that they really enhance the office and the experience and set us apart from the other 140 offices globally. Like if you come into our Turks and Caicos office, it is an agency Turks and Caicos office. It's different.
Yeah.
And that's what we want always. We want to be seen to be different. So the art walk was one. Obviously, we've done magazine launch events and we've charities and everything else. But it's very important to be part of the community. And I think outside of our individual brokerages, I've always loved what Takria does. You know, we have a whole committee there for
the social.
Yeah. And then I think it's the Red Hot
Challenge.
Yeah, like seeing Bradley and the others going to you know, town with competing with each other with arm wrestling and racing and all that stuff. So I think all of that speaks well of us when obviously it would be very easy to dismiss us from the outside looking in as just people that are all about money.
Yes.
Which is, you couldn't be further from the truth, I think, when you look at some of the great people we have in our association.
Yeah, I think, but that is so important with community. And like, one of the things I like what you said is about, you know, people get to really know you for you and you get to know others as well.
Yep.
And it really helps, even, I think it also brings long-lasting relationships. And sometimes even in this real estate business, when you feel like, you know what, you've exhausted a lot of where you're going to get your next sale from or anything else, or like that, these same people who you have socialized with, these are the people who come back to you.
Yep.
And then because they remember that great conversation we had, or they remember something about Ian Hurdle or Veronica Delancey, and this is when they come back and you'll be like, yeah, you remember when we had to, you know, we participated in this together, and that was bring everybody together.
It's not always about the sale. Sometimes it just feels good to be part of the community and you know, with what this community has been through, from the recession to Hurricane Irma to the pandemic, like I'd argue that there's like we're really when times are tough, like no community comes together like ours. And obviously we're, as a community, we're experiencing things at the moment I don't think you and I ever thought we'd experience as a community. So that's another challenge that I think already you can see people coming together, people trying to find a way, solutions, what can we do to help government, what can the private sector do, like all of that, because we all recognize that without the very important people that come into this country to spend their money, like all of us are out of the job.
Yes.
Yeah.
And one of the things was we're coming from contribution. That's what we started talking about this conversation, coming from contribution, and that's what community things does for us. Help us to come from contribution to contribute. Sometimes people want to just take, but sometimes we need to give in return.
Yeah, you do. You have to give back. Like, why else are we doing what we're doing? Like, there's a human element. Like, it's so important. Like, you know, and also like nothing makes me happier. Like, I can take the grandkids to work. Like, have you met my granddaughter? She's awesome. Like, and that's fun to do that.
It is.
Yeah.
We're wrapping it up, but one of the last things I want to talk about is talking about consistency in the brand. I think consistency is so important. No matter what you start in life, you have to keep at it or else you will fail. And I think that's so true in real estate. And one of the things we keep talking about is the social media, and you know, social media, you want to start and then you stop. You can't start and stop. You have to be consistent. If you're going to post, if you know you can't handle 10 posts for the week, then don't commit to 10 posts for the week. Whatever you're going to do it in moderation so that you can remain consistent, because I think consistency helps with the success. What do you think about the whole consistency thing when it comes to keeping the brand alive?
So, for whether it's your brokerage brand or whether it's what you stand for individually, like, and you mentioned to this me earlier, like, I'm known for working hard.
Yes.
Like, so I have every excuse in the world not to do a post daily. Like, there is 100 things I could be doing in a day where I don't do that post, but it is an intrinsic part of me and it's intrinsic to my business that come hell or high water, I'm going to get that post out in a day. Even if it's just a quick reel and sorry guys, I'm really busy today, I won't bore you with one of my blogs. Here's a great video.
Right.
Like I'm
consistent.
I can like go to bed and then suddenly bolt upright at 11 o'clock at night, like, oh my God, I haven't prepared for tomorrow, like get it done. And when you look at what I've achieved in a short space of time, like that work ethic and that mindset, I think all new agents need to have that. And maybe not necessarily with the posting, but like the preparation for the next day. Who am I going to meet? Have I studied the data that I need to be prepared for that person? Like this is, there is no job like real estate. Like I've just been on vacation, but I was working the entire time I'm on vacation, because you never really turn off. You're not in this industry to turn off. If you think it's a 9 to 5 where you can stop on a Friday afternoon and not be in the game until Monday, like you're in the wrong profession. It's not for you. And I would always be very blunt with people on that basis. Like this is not a part-timer's world. I tried it didn't work for me. I had to go all in.
Yes.
All power to you if you can do it, but I haven't found a way to do it. Discipline, like making sure you do the same things every day, starting with the hot sheet every morning. Like the association brings huge value to its agents. Like that hot sheet is your start of the day. Like what is sold, what is under offer, what new listings are coming in. Always there's a light bulb moment with one of those, like, okay, that listing has come in, I spoke to such and such 6 weeks ago, I'm going to fire this to him now because that's exactly the criteria that he said he was looking for, and we couldn't find anything then. So it starts with the hot sheet. Obviously you've already set up your appointments for the day, like who are you meeting, and if you don't have appointments, set them. Like I say to my agents, like you're new, what are you doing today? Well, I don't actually have any appointments today. Get out of this office. Go and call Vanika. Go and invite her for coffee. Build the relationship. Like you have to be out and you have to be front and center with people. Not always on video, as we said. Like the importance of being a real person and authentic with somebody. And we have, God, so many successful in different ways people in this industry that have been doing it for many, many years, that new agents should be aspiring to. They should be like hounding them for the opportunity to spend time with them, absorb, soak. Like, what are you doing every day? What is your process? Are you using a CRM?
Right.
Are you outdated and using the same spreadsheet you've used for a decade? Like, whatever it is, but taking all of that information, like, I credit so much of my success now from learning from Walter Garner, learning from Nina Siegenthaler, learning from Joe Zarm. Like, I was a sponge in my first 5 years of the industry. Like, I knew where I wanted to go, I knew the people I wanted to compete with, and they were good enough always to give me tips and hints and advice as to this is how they do it, and then you find what works for you. But honestly, most of what I do on a daily basis has come from the top 10, 15 people that I work with every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, but talking about that, like when I first started real estate, one of the things I intentionally did was join all our committees on the TCI. And that was my way of saying, hey, I need to understand the product, I need to understand the system, I need to be able to be in the mix in every which way. So at this particular time, I've probably been on every committee except the ethics committee, because you know that's a special committee where not everyone can be on and off. And that was one of my ways of getting involved with everything. And then, like you said, you're going to attend all the open houses, you're going to make sure be present. You're not going to be finding excuses why you can or cannot do every day.
So you and your team do an excellent job with the open house tours. In my entire time as a real estate agent, like I live for those tours, and I love hosting on those tours because it's an opportunity to like. But where I get frustrated, and I'm sure it's the same for you, like new agents not attending, new agents not going to see properties, like that's your bread and butter.
Yes.
This is what you're here for. You're here to learn. You're here to have the ability that when somebody contacts you, you can say, yes, I went in 5105 at the Palms. It's just a one bed. There's only 2 1-beds on property.
Yes.
I've been inside it. The finishes are consistent. They've just recently renovated. If you don't have that knowledge, how are you possibly going to serve your customers? So there is, and whether that's the open house tours or just like, and I was bummed that I missed it today. Like I really wanted to go to the Century 21 open house today. fortunately I'm busy, can't get there. But for new agents, no excuse. You should be going to every single open house. And again, people that host open houses, like, it's a lot of work.
It is.
It takes time and coordination to set up with the owners. Invariably, they're not clean and tidy when you go. Like, you're there cleaning up around the pool, you're dusting, you're doing whatever you can, you're making your branded presentation so that everybody knows it's a Keller Williams open house, it's an agency open house. You're finding your touch, like, to make it feel different to every other brokerage. What am I doing to stand out? Like, I mean, you and I could pick holes endlessly. But ultimately, it comes down to hard work, and you've really got to want it.
You got to want it.
Yeah.
You know, everyone thinks that real estate is really a walk in the park. But when you get into real estate, I know that everything is what you put in is what you get out of it. But when you start real estate, you realize that it is a lot of work. From the outside looking in, it seems easy, but you know, for those who really have it as a career choice and really mean to do business, it is a lot of work. A lot of work. I
mean, right now we're coming into what historically is the slower time of year. I couldn't tell you what I did between the end of March and now. Like, it was just a blur. Because although the market conditions were changing, like, we had a lot of customers in, there was a lot going on. We had groundbreaking events that I think you came to a couple of them. Like, there was always something that was happening each day. And that's one of the beauties, that if you really embrace this industry, no day is the same.
No day's the same.
Like, every day is different. And as we said right at the start, it's always a roller coaster. I've got a sale. No, I don't. Yes, I do. No, I don't. And I think if you embrace that as fun, and I always have the mindset, like, I need so many failures to get so many wins. Like, I'm happy to lose 7 to get 1.
To get 1.
Yeah. Like, and a lot of people, as you know, like, if they lose 1, that's the end of the world, and that's their year over, and they just don't have the gumption to, like, no, pick yourself up, dust yourself off, it's time to go again. Like, it's important to be told no, and you might get told no 10, 12 times, but eventually you'll get to a yes.
You'll get to a yes.
Yeah. And those that are at the top of the industry are, like, broad-shouldered, thick-skinned. You as an example, like, we're just gonna get up and go again. Like,
Yeah, it is a tough one.
Yep.
So what do you say in closing? What do you say to agents who are getting in the business, and even for some of the seasoned agents who are there, you know, anything would encourage them, you know, just to continue, like, to beef up their brand, you know, to help them to move forward and be even more successful?
Identify your superpower and identify your kryptonite. Work out where you're really good and you're having success, and then be very self-critical about where you're not, and that's new or old. Like, we can all be better.
Yes.
Like, if this is an industry of margins, it's a game of percentages. Like, if I sold 30 units last year, what can I do to sell 35 units this year? What am I missing? Like, and I'll give an example, like condos. I was very weak with condos. I'm personally not a fan of condo investments, but I recognized very quickly that because I wasn't selling condos, I wasn't doing myself a service or the business a service. And so I literally, I think it was 2.5 years ago, I'm like, right, I'm all in on condos. Like, as much as I can't stand doing the comp analysis, building to building, and the nitty gritty of why one unit sold at $5 a square foot more than the next one.
Yes.
I put myself through it because I wanted to be that much better. And I think for any agent, like, I know, like, from our conversation with you, like, I want to get up to selling houses in the 5 million and up. Like, what am I doing to get there? How can I make that step? Like, we all have our personal journeys in amongst the collective of to career.
I think that was well put, and thank you again for being a part of this show.
Thank you for inviting me. Finally, I'm here.
Finally, you're here.
Yeah. I appreciate the time and opportunity. And was there any questions from anybody in the audience?
No questions, just a few people listen, but no questions.
Good.
But definitely, I thought it was a very good conversation. And, you know, like I said, I think we all can improve on our brand. And I think, you know, branding is very important, especially in any business, like I said. But I mean, real estate right now, just being so much involved with it, I see the need for it. And this is something that we tell our agents all the time. And if we want to be successful in this business, you need to establish your brand and work hard towards us. There's really no down season in real estate, I don't think.
No.
Even when we say the market feels slow, like you said, everything is changing every day.
Yep.
And that's time where we can come in and improve ourselves, work on our weaknesses, and get to where we want to be. Those of you who are afraid to be in the front of the camera, you know, put that fear aside, get in front of the camera. Like Ian said, it doesn't mean you have to be in the front of the camera every day.
No.
You have branding materials that you can use without. But, you know, put that aside and put your face out there. Allow people to see you're a real person.
Yep.
And get your face out there. Let people identify you and the brand together. So
For any business,
for
not just real
any
estate.
business,
Yeah.
for any
Like
business,
be found.
be found.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
Yeah. Be found.
Be found. One gentleman said to me, every time I turn Facebook on, you're there, Renika. I'm like, I like that you're seeing
That's a
me
good
all the
thing.
time. That's
Yeah.
a good thing.
Yeah.
That is a good thing.
Because
And
when they want to buy or sell, who are they going to come to?
they're going to call me.
Yep.
And on the last note, I wanted to touch on this, but I have forgotten to say it. We are the ambassadors. We are ambassadors of the Turks and Caicos Islands as real estate agents, and we must always remember that. Just like how you were talking about the gentleman identifying you as the person on TikTok. You know, I've had someone who walked twice in my office. They were like, I see you on YouTube all the time. I came to the Turks and Caicos Islands because of you talking about Turks and Caicos. And at that point in time, I was like, really? And he's like, yes. He's like, I never thought about coming to Turks until I saw one of your videos. He came to
give
Turks
you your
and Caicos.
flowers right now because I was watching one of your videos to get ready for today. I think it was the one with Sean, and I was looking down through the comments. And Boss Mum, like, I'm coming in the fall. You're my real estate guru. I'm working with you. And I was like, and I didn't even look at your reply. I was like, yep, that's my girl. She gets it.
And it shows you that we are ambassadors for the Turks and Caicos Islands. So take your job seriously as real estate agents, and let's just keep doing what we do best.
How fortunate are we that we get to do this
Yes.
in this country? Like, everybody needs to remember that. Like, it's an incredible privilege.
It is.
Yeah.
So again, to my listening audience, thank you so much for joining us. And until next time, stay safe and remain blessed. Have a very good
Thank you,
evening.
everyone. Thank you, Vanika.
Thank you for coming.